Welcome everyone. Today we will discuss about in-text questions. So these in-text questions which are given here, they are related with ionic compounds and properties of ionic compounds. So question number 1, first part, write the electron dot structures for sodium, oxygen and magnesium. So how to write the electron dot structures for different elements? So what you have to do, you have to remember only two things. First of all, whatever the element is given, so the first thing which you have to write is their symbol. For example, if it is sodium, then you have to write Na, which is the symbol of sodium, and then you have to only write the, or you have to only show the valence electrons for that element. So for sodium, valence electron is 1, so you can only, you have to show that valence electron either with the help of dot or with the help of cross. In whatever way you want to show, you can show, but you only have to show valence electron. You don't have to show all the, or the total number of electrons present in an atom of the element. So that you have to keep in mind. These are the only two things. Or you can also consider this as electron dot structures for different element means it is the first step. That means the first step which we were using for the formation of ionic compound, that only you have to write. So if you remember, in the first step for the formation, we were using only symbol and the valence electrons of the element, and then we were also showing with the help of arrow the transference of electron from metal to non-metal. So here when you have to only write electron dot structures for different elements, it can be metal, it can be non-metal, you only have to write first of all symbol and then number of valence electrons, that you can represent it either with the help of dot or cross. Second one is show the formation of Na2O, which is sodium oxide, and MgO, magnesium oxide, by the transfer of electrons. So clearly it is given here transfer of electrons. Suppose if it is not given transfer of electrons also, then also you can understand that sodium oxide and magnesium oxide, they are ionic compound, and all ionic compounds, they are formed by transference of electrons only. So like we discussed the formation of sodium chloride and magnesium chloride, in the same way you have to show the formation of sodium oxide and magnesium oxide by the transference of electron. So you just, what you do, you just uh, try to write the formation of sodium oxide and magnesium oxide in rough notebook, so that when tomorrow, that means on Saturday, we are having live session, so there, if you feel any problem or any doubt related with this, then we will be discussing, or if you don't, then also I will be discussing this from my side, so that it can become more clear to you, because we only discuss this once or twice. Then the third point is what are the ions present in these compounds. Then you can easily, after forming or after showing the formation of these ionic compounds, you can easily write the ions. And if you, even if you have not shown the formation, then also you can write, because you know that metals, they are electropositive in nature, and non-metals, they are electronegative in nature. So suppose if our ionic compound is sodium oxide, then you know that sodium, it is positive, electropositive in nature as it is metal, and oxygen, it will be electronegative in nature as it is non-metal. So sodium, it will develop positive charge, and oxygen will be having negative charge. And then you can easily also write the positive charge and negative charge based on the number of valence electron if they are having. That means if you know about the octet rule, or also if you remember the cross multiplication method which we were doing, which we were just following last year, so that we can form the formula of different compounds. That method also you can definitely apply here. It is very easy. So sodium, we know that it tends to give only one, it tends to lose, or it tends to give only one electron to non-metal, so it will develop Na plus charge, and you know that the valency of sodium is 1, so that also directly you can write. And oxygen also, you know that oxygen is having 6 valence electrons, and then to complete octet, to attain octet, it will gain 2 electrons more, so it will develop -2 charge. Or if you don't want to just go through all this concept, then you can directly, if you have learned, then you can directly also apply that oxygen, it is having valency of 2, and if it is ionic compound, then definitely it should be an ion, because we know that the particles in ionic compounds, they are anions and cations. So accordingly you can write, like hardly, if you have practice, no, it will be taking 1 minute only if you have to write the ions, not even 1 minute also. Then the next one is magnesium oxide. If you have to write the constituent ions. Then magnesium, again it is a metal, so it is electropositive in nature, and if you know that its valency is +2, so magnesium will be cation and it will be having +2 charge over it, whereas for oxygen again it will be having -2 charge. So this is about the, that means this question number 1, it is related with the formation of ionic compounds. So you just try this second part, at how you will be, like we discussed 2 steps only, so you just practice for these 2 compounds also, that how if we have to represent the formation of ionic compounds, and what are the things we have discussed already, and what are the details. I asked you little, very little details are there which you need to remember, especially in the last step. So just practice it, and we will be discussing in live session. Then question number 2 is, why do ionic compounds have high melting points? So this we also discussed, I think, yesterday itself, in the properties of ionic compounds. The reason is that, so how ionic compounds are getting formed, that you have understood. So we know that because the way ionic compounds are getting formed, so the particles of ionic compounds are ions, or the charged particles, and how these ions are arranged in ionic compounds. So these ions are arranged like alternatively positive and negative. That means if one positive ion is there, then the next one is going to be negative ion, and then positive and then negative. So like these ions are arranged in the ionic compound. So we know that positive charge and negative charge, they attract with each other. So here also what happens, that positive charge, which is cation, and negative charge, which is anion, they are also attracted, or in between them electrostatic force of attraction is acting between them. So this, the nature of this electrostatic force of attraction is very strong. That means the force of attraction, you can say, which binds positive ion and a negative ion in ionic compound is very strong in nature, and that is why, this is the reason that the melting point of ionic compounds are very high. Because we know that what happens in melting, melting means solid when it get converts into liquid. So here, when we are applying or when we are providing heat energy, then if the ionic compound, if it has to convert from solid to liquid state, then first of all it has to overcome the strong nature of electrostatic force of attraction, and to overcome this strong electrostatic force of attraction, we need to provide very high amount of heat energy, and that is why its melting point ultimately will be very high. And some of the melting point and boiling point for some of the ionic compounds, it is also given in the table. So there you can see. So if you have to write the answer like in very short, in 1 line for 1 mark only, then you can only write, because of very strong electrostatic force of attraction acting between oppositely charged ions. But if you have to, anyhow you have to, like for the 3 marks, if you have to explain this answer, then you also need to mention the rest of the points like I discussed. So to overcome the strong force of attraction between oppositely charged ions, large amount of heat energy is required, and that is why melting point of the ionic compounds, it becomes very high. So this is about the in-text questions related with ionic compounds. I hope that you have understood, because this topic is very easy, and definitely we will once again going to discuss about the formation of different ionic compounds in live session. Thank you.